This is Mike at Photo Concerto, and I've got Matt Check with me today. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. So you're in New Orleans right now, right?
I am stuck here with my girlfriend who is recovering from the virus. I had him.
Oh,
Yeah, I had it myself. We were in Cincinnati visiting her family for Christmas, and then I tested positive. I was fine. We got past. I had enough recovery that we were able to fly down here to visit her sister, and then
okay.
she got sick like the last day of the trip, and we had to cancel our tickets. So we're stuck here for another couple
You
of days.
know,
So it's
I
all
can
good.
think of worse places to be stuck, though. Actually.
Yeah, yeah. I love it down here. It's my first time here, but
Oh, okay.
having a lot of fun. Really, just seeing a lot of music. And food's amazing, and all of the neighborhoods are just absolutely beautiful. It's very European. It's like
And
totally
that
reminds me of
it's
like Paris a little bit. It's pretty cool. It's
it's
very
one of
cool.
the places I've actually, from a photographer's point of view, it's one of the places I've always wanted to get to. Just because I see the architecture and I think there's a lot of photo opportunities, and then of course, like you said, the music. Because I'm thinking there's probably tons of music around there. I just wander in someplace and listen to something.
Yeah, we saw the first night we were here. We saw this band called the Soul Rebels, which it was two drummers and a horn section, and it was totally awesome. They kind of just riffed off all these like random songs that like we all like. They did Dido. They did Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Oh, jeez.
But it was totally awesome. It was all brass. It was really cool. It was really interesting. It was kind of like this weird. I don't know, Lauren. How would you describe the Soul Rebels? My girlfriend's here. How would you describe it? Yeah, like hip hop brass.
Okay.
Yeah, totally awesome. And the bar was packed, I was super not expecting that in this day and age. And then like the other day, we saw like a classic jazz band in the morning, like New Orleans, like classic jazz with like banjo and a horn section and a drummer. And then the other night on Frenchman Street, we saw this like kind of avant-garde jazz. Like it was really fun. It's like the whole breadth and depth of like the city. And on Bourbon Street's a lot like honestly, it's like Vegas or maybe like downtown in Nashville. Like all these like shameless cover bands in the bars. It was a little bit weird. And Bourbon Street was super weird. A little bit uncomfortable.
Well, while we're on the topic of music, you've got a new EP coming out.
I do. Super psyched about it. Yeah.
Yeah, so the Bridgeford Sessions, and that's going to come out in March, correct?
That's right. The full EP will be out March 11th, and two singles coming out before that. One in I think it's February. Don't quote me. February 10th and 22nd, and then the third EP
Okay.
and the full record technically on March 11th. Yeah.
Okay. And so yeah, just an EP, just 3 songs, and from your release, it looks like this was a little bit of impromptu recording, not really,
It
not
was
something you.
yeah, it was it was totally impromptu. I was going through this breakup with my girlfriend. We're back together now. We're in the apartment together here in New Orleans, so everything's great. Everything's copacetic, right, hon? We're good. That's right, we're good. Okay. But we had this like super, super intense breakup, from my perspective, and it was a very New York story. Like we broke up, but I had still agreed to rent the apartment from her. So I came back to New
Okay.
York from traveling, and she was not in New York over the summer, and I took her place, and I totally just really missed her, like and I was just a very singer songwriter moment where I couldn't help but write these songs about the breakup, and I was just feeling super motivated, and I know a lot of people who I can call to play, and I've got a place where I usually record my music, and I called up the guys that were available. I got them in the studio, and we tracked all the songs in one day. And it was a really fun session. It was just very experimental. And it was an opportunity to do this like 8-track recording. That was in the press release. We recorded it live to an 8-track tape. This recording, this piece of technology called an Otari. It's from 1979.
Yeah,
And we did.
I saw that, and I was gonna ask, where did you even find one of those?
My buddy who has a music studio, I don't know. He's very techy. You know, he's like a really good sound engineer, and he found one, and he just bought it, and had it refurbished, and you have to buy the physical tape, like on the wheel, you know, like so we had to buy the
Right.
tape, and honestly, it was like this combination of like being motivated, really focused, and just like honestly, just like really being lucky. Like everybody kind of got the groove, and we nailed it. Like the second song on the which I can send you it's on the YouTubes that I sent you. The song "Okay
Right.
with It," for example, that was the first take, like on tape, and I kind of can't believe that we nailed it because I really don't. You know, I am a good singer, I am a good performer, but to nail it live for a recording is a whole different. You know, like psychologically and emotionally, like to just get it. You know, and we really just we had fun, and for whatever reason, it just worked out that day, and we just really captured it in the moment. It was super cool.
Okay, and
Um,
so using the 8 track, so you didn't track things separate. You know, you went in to do the guitars, the vote. You did everything all live, right?
all live. Yeah, I was in right. So, you can see this in the music in the video too. So, in one room, it was the drums, it was the piano player, and it was the pedal steel slash the electric guitars, depending on the song. And then in the booth, it was me playing acoustic guitar, singing, and the guy who was the sound engineer, he was playing bass. So he would like
Okay.
press record. We press record, and we just like play through the whole thing, and then you press stop. And there were, you know, you'll see in the video, there were like 5 cameras on us. I had a videographer come in to capture the whole thing. So it was 100% live, um, and it was super fun. And then the only thing that is obviously overdubbed because I can't sing at the same time was like
Right.
we we bounced all of the tracks to digital, and then we deleted one of the tracks, and then I sang harmony to myself.
Which I would assume, you know, mainly for choruses and stuff, because I know, you know, a lot of times when you're recording, especially choruses, you want to get, you know, at least a double vocal in there.
Yeah, and the harmony was super organic too. I just kind of decided the harmonies on the spot. I didn't overthink it. All of it was super in the moment, which is why I'm like really proud of it because the songs are dynamic. Like there's hits. There's some coordination, but not too much. It's loose, but it's together. You know,
Right.
you know, there's some integrity to it, but it's not. It like I said, it's loose, but it's together. It's like the perfect balance in my mind. Um, so it was really just a really fun project, and honestly, man, it was really fun to listen to it on the tape. Like
So so how
so
does
good.
Lord feel about being the basis of what's more or less like a breakup album?
Lauren, come here for a second, honey. We have a. I'm going to take out my earphones for a second.
Okay.
Visible though, right?
Come in. Come in.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm okay. We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
And yeah, how's
So-
it going? I'm Lauren.
Do you not want to be invisibly in something? Is that what you just said?
Oh, I just didn't want to be like on any like yogurt on my fingers.
Oh,
and
you're
measuring
fine. No, you're fine.
stuff.
You know what? Yogurt's fine.
Okay.
We all like yogurt.
Ask the question again. It's a great question.
So my question is, how do you feel about being the basis for what is essentially a breakup album?
I earned it. I'm just kidding. Well, you know, I at the time it wasn't, and I don't say this to be actually I don't know what I was happy Matt had this as an outlet at the time when he was, you know, I knew he was writing it, and I thought
Mhm.
I hadn't seen him use music in a way that I realized was so cathartic for him. And so I guess that's kind of more how I looked at it than how I was portrayed in it or anything like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
Should I have?
we were no that's a good way of putting it. We were still in contact even when we broke up. We had to be in contact because of the apartment, you know.
Right.
And I kept trying to get her back, so she for whatever reason, she kept agreeing to speak to me. And during the whole time, I kept being like, I'm writing these songs. And I will be honest that, with other partners, there definitely was this, like, I'm going to write these songs to get her back. That was not this. I was writing the music, frankly, because I was in so much pain. I didn't know what else to do. Like, I really just didn't know what else to do. And I even said that to you at a certain point. I was like, I can't help it. I have to write these songs. Right.
Right.
It was something like that.
No, that is, and that's a good point too. Like, I think somebody made a joke before, I know, in my circle, like, oh, or even if Matt, like, about writing songs about me, is it that easy to get you back? And I'm like, it's not. Matt knows that, and that's why he that way. So,
Well,
that's
well, I'm a musician myself, so I can, having that outlet, to deal with things like that is, it's helpful for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Truly. I mean, I saw it like before. I mean, because like Matt says, we were both struggling. I mean, it was a tough time, and I could really see how
Yeah,
helpful it was
and
for
if you
him.
really listen to the lyrics, I really was writing it from a place where I really just thought I thought we were never gonna get back together. I was not, I really had, in a certain respect, I had accepted it, and the writing of the music was processing the fact that I had lost her, and I was not expecting
Okay.
it, and so that's in the lyrics. It really just is. If you listen to like the chorus of Tattoo, it's like, far from, there's no place I'd rather be, like, far from here more than anywhere else, than far away from how it came to be. Like, how it came to be is that we're not together, right? And then, like, I totally just did not paraphrase my own song correctly, but that's fine. That's okay.
There was a tone
That's
I think is what you said.
Yes, there was a tone of resignation. And like with the last song, I was really kind of like, the last song is about a songwriter being like, I'm tired of writing music about these things that don't work out in my life, and I'm tired of being in so much pain that there's nothing I can do but write a song. I'm tired of writing music. That's what that song is about. It's like meta on meta in a certain, respect. So anyway, it did work out. I did not expect.
Yes.
Yes. And okay, this portion of
sorry.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
Okay, we can continue.
Okay, thanks.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. So musically, obviously I've listened to your stuff. I hear a lot of different influences in there. So I know, like, in you'd mentioned Dylan in your press release. I hear that. I hear a little bit of, like, I want to say kind of like late 70s soft rock that's in there a little bit of country with the steel guitar. I can't hear you again. Yep, still can't hear you.
Okay, I'm just going to keep you on speaker. Okay, say it again. You're in the press release. You said you heard a lot of X.
No, when I was listening to your stuff, I hear it seems like you've taken a lot of different musical styles from my perspective and blended them together. Because I hear, like, in your press release, you'd mentioned Dylan.
Yeah.
And I definitely hear that in there. I hear what's a little bit like some of the, like, late 70s, kind of like some of the soft rock stuff. There is, like, a little bit of country mixed in.
Yeah.
Seems like, and with the piano, one of the things I thought was, that reminds me a little bit of Billy Joel.
Interesting. Cool. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I think, piano I rediscovered in my late 30s, to be honest. And I did, I started writing music on the piano again about 3 years ago. And the record that came out in the beginning of the pandemic, I wrote all the songs on the piano.
Okay.
And I really got into Jackson Browne in my mid 30s.
Okay.
I honestly had never listened to him before I was 34 years old, which I kind of can't believe, because he's really just a songwriter,
Right.
That album Running on Empty, I just listened to it so much in my mid 30s, and it really kind of influenced. I always wanted to write a song that he wrote. Like, it's called Love Needs a Heart. It's like one of the best songs. It doesn't have a bridge, doesn't have a chorus, doesn't really have verses. Like, it all kind of like congeals into like one thing, and it just kind of makes sense. I always wanted to write songs like that. But growing up, yeah, it's a lot of classic rock. was super into the Grateful Dead. Super into
Yeah,
Bob.
that's yeah. There's I heard a little bit, some influences on that in there.
Yeah, just a lot of really good classic rock, bluesy stuff. Honestly, some really great. I lived for a year in Israel.
Oh, really?
When I was in my early 20s, and Israel had amazing classic rock in the 1970s. And it's really cool stuff. And I really got into a couple of guys that you'll never hear of ever again if I say their names. One guy's name was Shalom Chanuch, and another one is Arik Einstein. And like super awesome rock and roll, just like really good stuff, and like totally stayed with me. I totally took it with me. A lot of like my yeah.
Well, with the internet these days, some of that stuff that would remain obscure all of a sudden, starts to find an audience outside of its native country.
Yeah. Yeah. And by this point in my I don't know if I want to call it career, I guess like my songwriting, a lot of the stuff that I do is like this, unconscious like amalgamation of just like everything I've ever listened to by this point. And I really just kind of write from the heart. I'll have a melody and maybe like a lyrical idea, and then it somehow just kind of comes together. I really just kind of let the song write itself. I can write a song mechanically, like if I have an assignment. I have been.
I saw that in on your, I think it was on your website. You said that quote was on there.
Yeah, I can. I can be very mechanical and methodical. The album I wrote with Joni Leeds, who's Grammy, she's a Grammy winner. That project was very focused, right? We would sit down and be like, we're going to write a song about X, and then we'd do it. So I can do it because I totally, I also was in like, musical theater growing up. So I have like this, I have the sensibility for like what goes into writing a song. Like it's
right.
Not, but by this point in my life, it's this interesting combination of like, I know what it takes to write a song and what's going to keep people's attention, but I can take enough liberties and break the rules that I can make it interesting and not like, something else, so to speak. My favorite thing, honestly, and I've said this before to people, my favorite thing, maybe even in an interview, my favorite thing is when like I can write a song and it really references something musically that I like from my inspirations. And it's kind of like this own private relationship I have with my own favorite music, that it comes out.
Right.
And then somebody else will reference something totally different. That's super cool. That's like kind of the essence of art, right? Because something artistic that you're affected by, you get to kind of say, what it means to you. And I love that. I love when it's not one thing, that it's like multiple things. I love when that happens. And it has happened with my stuff
All
too.
right. Well, with music or with anything, really, that actually kind of how it should be, because you don't want to just emulate someone else's style completely. And I think anybody that's a musician, I mean, obviously they're pulling from multiple styles, multiple influences, and hopefully creating something that's unique in their own.
Yeah, I would like to continue to do that somehow going forward. I don't know how much more. I don't know if I'm unique. I'd like to think I am a little bit, but it's.
Well, like I said, I heard enough different things brought in there that it does become something that it doesn't sound like it may sound a little bit like this and a little bit like that, but I can't pinpoint exactly. Yeah, this is definitively what it is.
Yeah, there's a change. There's a chord change in the last song, and it's totally from a Jim Croce song. And what is it? I've got a name, and I was playing it for my father, and then he heard it. He's like, I've got a name. It's like saying it like that, you can't. I can't help it, and that doesn't bother me because I'm not. It's not plagiarism. It's really just kind of referencing your influences, and then you kind of take an idea and you make it your own, and I like that. So, and I hear it all the time in other songwriters.
Yeah, I do too. In fact, there's a song that my wife and daughter have been listening to on the radio, and I can't think of what it is, but as soon as I heard it, I was like, isn't that a Police song?
Which one was it?
I can't even remember now. I'll have to ask. But yeah, at the beginning, I'm like, I swear that is a Police song. It very well could be.
Yeah, you can't help it. Sometimes you can't help it. So
Yeah. So any plans after the EP?
no, not yet. I was not really sure. Well, I am going back into the studio in February to do yet another album.
Okay.
It's going to do a 7-song album down in Nashville.
Oh, okay.
Super excited. I'm teaming up with this guy named Thomas Brian Eaton, who's an amazing guitar player, and his partner, who's kind of like a Nashville Americana country singer-songwriter named Miss Tess. They're super awesome. You should check them out. And they're just really great songwriters, and they're both banging guitar players. Like, they're so good. They came up to New York. They played a show in New York right before everything kind of fell apart again with the pandemic. And they're so talented. I'm like, I can't believe they agreed to do an album with me. I have to like play with them, But I got 7 songs, two brand new songs that I just wrote, and the rest of them are like songs from different parts of my life that I kind of want to re-record, kind of rethink them anew. 2 of them are from my brother, who also was a great songwriter in his own right. And my brother plays on a couple, like if you listen to like Couple of Reasons, like the music video, he's the electric guitar player on that. He plays all the electric guitar on the Amazing Worth album. That was the one that came out last summer that we recorded in 2008. Totally awesome songwriter, my brother. I'm doing 2 of his songs that he wrote back in the mid-aughts. And yeah, so that's the next project, and that's probably going to come out in the fall.
Okay, I'd imagine because of pandemic, probably not a lot of. And I don't know how much touring you do outside of songwriting, but I imagine nothing.
I'm not a touring musician. I haven't been. With me and Lauren, we've been talking about this, how I should be playing more. I just have a day job in New York, and so to really get together and get a bunch of people together to play live, it's such a heavy lift. Actually, after we're done, I'm going to send you some live clips of a recent show I played, just so you can see what my music sounds like live. Because I do love to play live, but it doesn't happen often. It's very difficult in New York because you have to get a practice space, you have to pay people, and then in New York, because everybody's so super busy, you have to like convince people to actually come out and hear you. And then you have to play well, right? There's like so many.
Yeah.
Not like living in a different part of the country where it's more pedestrian. It's just not like that in New York. So I'll be doing, if I do more shows coming up, it's probably going to be like solo stuff or just me and my singer with me. But not the big, like full band experience, not for a while, unfortunately. But yeah, so this album's coming out. Then I've got this new record, which I'm not sure what I'm going to call it yet. That's probably going to come out in the fall at some point.
Okay.
And then beyond that, I'm also a banjo player. I was thinking about dusting it off and going back to Bluegrass for a record after that one.
And I had seen it looked like there was one album where, you played a banjo on it. I saw that on the Bandcamp page.
Yeah, that's an interesting album. I haven't done so that was like part of my Jewish music, because I'm also a Jewish musician. I do music for synagogues.
Okay.
I did a whole album of bluegrass, like is like for the liturgy for Friday nights, called Kabbalah Shabbat. Like if you go to Shabbat services for Friday night in the synagogue, they do a whole set of different prayers, and there's different melodies, and like depending on what part of the country you're in, there's a whole new thing that's been happening now for the past 30 years where you can, it's like going to a concert, like rock Shabbat, but there'll be like folk Shabbat, there'll be like rock Shabbat, there'll be, and so I was like, I started to play music in synagogues about maybe a decade ago, and I'm like, we should be doing like bluegrass music with the Friday night liturgy. And so I did it. I did a whole album. It's called the Bluegrass Kabbalah Shabbat Experience, which I recorded it was 2014. And there's a really popular band now that does Jewish bluegrass.
Really?
They're actually super popular now. They're called Nefesh Mountain. Nefesh means soul. So like
okay.
in Hebrew. They're super popular. They just played down at the Grand Ole Opry, and I think Sam Bush produced.
Oh wow.
Yeah, they're legitimate now. They're totally legit. But I've done my own Bluegrass stuff myself.
Is that what it's termed now?
Yeah. So that's a long time ago. And if I get back to the banjo, I might just do like normal bluegrass as opposed to like Jewish bluegrass. But who knows? At the moment, I'm always kind of thinking about the Bridgeford Sessions, which I'm totally excited about. And then the next record, which we're recording in February, as long as everybody's healthy and can get down to Nashville and do it. So.
Yeah, and there's not more, restrictions put on things and all that, because seems like every time I turn up, there's more restrictions. So
that's right. For the moment, at least, we always have to kind of keep good heads on our shoulders, I suppose, right?
Yep. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you. I think we'll probably talk again when the next album's ready to release, if you're up for that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'd love that.
Thanks for taking time to talk with me. And thanks, Lauren.
Oh, thank you. Have a great night day. I don't know where you are, but
he's in Oregon, so it's night.
Okay.
Yeah, that's good.
Take care.
Okay. Have a great. Good to talk to you.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Bye.
Bye.